Order in court, all rise.
Thank you all kindly. Please be seated.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am.
May it please the court, your honor, we are on the record in regards to Mr. Adrian McCray. This is case number 2021 GS 450065. Your honor, he was originally charged with 8 counts of assault and battery behind aggravated nature, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, possession of a firearm by a person convicted of a violent felony, and discharging a firearm. Your honor, he was arrested back on October 10th of 2020. He is currently represented by attorney Virgil Barr, and he plans to plead guilty this morning. Your honor, he had 3 subsequent bond hearings. Bond was denied at each one, and he has been remaining detained at the Williamsburg County Detention Center for a total of 962 days, your honor, on these charges. This morning, he's going to plead guilty to 2 counts of assault and battery high and aggravated nature. The state's recommendation is a 12-year active sentence. And your honor, present in the courtroom, we do have one of the victims, Miss Ashley Elmore.
All right, is that right, Mr. Ball?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. That is correct.
Okay. Mr. McCray,
Yes, sir.
I looked at the indictment of numerous charges, now we're down to 2. How do you plead to these 2 charges of assault and battery high and aggravated nature?
Guilty.
Would you pull that mask down, just so I can make sure I hear what you say? Mr. McCray, your lawyer is Mr. Barr. Are you satisfied with Mr. Barr's service?
Yes, sir.
Has Mr. Barr done all you've asked him to do?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any complaints about Mr. Barr?
No, sir.
Have you told him everything you know about these charges?
Yes, sir.
And to the best of your knowledge, has he told you and shared with you all the information and evidence and discovery that he might have about these charges?
Yes, sir.
Has he done all you've asked him to do?
Yes, sir.
Is anybody making you come to court today and plead guilty to these 2 charges?
No, sir.
Has anybody promised you anything to do with this?
No, sir.
Are you today under the influence of or using medications, prescribed or otherwise, drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
Do you have any injury or illness that might make it difficult to understand what you're doing today?
No, sir.
You've got a good lawyer. I work with Mr. Barr a lot. I'm sure he's told you, but just confirm for me that he has explained to you the process of a jury trial, how it works, and that to be found guilty requires a unanimous verdict beyond a reasonable doubt on both charges.
Yes, sir.
And also, no one can make you testify. A judge will tell your jury that they cannot hold it against you if you did not testify. A judge will tell your jury you are presumed innocent throughout the trial. But your lawyer could call people to testify for you, question people who testify against you, present your defenses, and preserve issues for an appeal at a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand you give that up, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, also give it the right to remain silent. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You had 10 days to appeal these sentences and the plea. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You could face up to 20 years on each one. This court could stack them up and make a 40-year sentence. And I don't have to follow recommendations. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
These charges, these convictions could be used to enhance a future sentence on other crimes, possibly. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Anything, ma'am? Please.
Your honor, back on October 10th of 2020, Williamsburg County Sheriff's Office was contacted and advised about a shooting that took place at Club Infinity, which is located at 55 North Williamsburg County Highway in the King Street area of Williamsburg County, and that there were several victims. Investigators with the Sheriff's Office were advised to start looking for an Adrian A-Town McCray. He had been identified as the shooter in this incident, and officers were sent out to his residence. Other officers responded to the local hospitals. They were approached by several people who stated that Mr. McCray had gotten into a physical altercation with his then girlfriend, Ms. Nautica McKnight. They were advised that Adrian was put out the club, and moments later he began shooting. Witnesses stated that a security guard saw Mr. Adrian and begged him not to do it. He saw him with a gun, and he still pushed past shooting into the club. Investigator Monty with the Williamsburg County Sheriff's Office responded to the scene. He was the first law enforcement to arrive at the scene, and he asked dispatch to notify King Street Police Department and to have all the officers there. And he entered the business and found one of the victims lying on the floor with several people surrounding him. There was a female around that was holding pressure to a gunshot wound that he sustained. Investigator Monty was able to locate 11 .223 caliber shell cases in the roadway and in front of the business. There were also several shell cases that were found at a car, in the car belonged to Mr. McCray, as well as the building had been struck as well. Investigator Monty reviewed the video footage from the club at the sheriff's office, and he was able to see and positively identify the suspect as Mr. Adrian McCray, who was being forcibly removed from the business. The suspect then walked to the corner at the front of the building and stopped. It appeared he had dropped something and stopped to pick it up. The suspect then proceeded to walk to his vehicle, a gray in color Buick Enclave that was parked at the rear of the business. The suspect removed a rifle from the back seat of the driver's side. The rifle appeared to be an AR-15 style rifle. He proceeded to walk casually through the parking lot to the front of the building. He stood in the highway in front of the business and shouldered the rifle and began firing at the building. The suspect then slowly jogged back to his vehicle, still parked at the rear of the business. He put the rifle inside of his vehicle and drove forward to the opposite side of the building, from the parking lot. The suspect then stopped in front of the building, and it's believed that he fired several more rounds at the building at that time. He was interviewed, he was Mirandized and interviewed at the Winsburg County Sheriff's Office. Investigator Monteith asked Mr. McCray what kind of firearm he owned. He admitted that he had an AR-15. He was shown the video footage from the club. McCray confirmed that that was his vehicle and that was where he was parked in the building. McCray identified himself as the person getting the AR-15 out of the vehicle. McCray identified himself as the person carrying the AR-15 in the pictures that showed him walking through the parking lot. And he was also showed a screenshot of a person with the rifle in front of the club, and he also identified himself. Other pictures were shown when the shooting took place. McCray possibly identified himself again as the person with the AR-15. Investigators asked McCray where the rifle was at then. He stated that he threw the rifle in the bushes beside his car where he parked in the woods. Further investigation showed Investigator Monty was able to find another .223 caliber shell casing in the front driver's side floor of Mr. McCray's vehicle, as well as another one in the front center console matching those that were fired. Monty used cotton swabs and he swabbed the driver's side door for GSR residue, and all these shell casing and GSR swabs were sent off to SLED for testing. In regards to his criminal history, back in 2005, Mr. McCray had a public disorderly conduct, simple possession of marijuana, possession of cocaine. 2011, malicious injury to personal property and assault and battery third degree. 2013, a driving under suspension, second offense, a criminal domestic violence of high and aggravated nature. In 2018, a simple possession of marijuana and a distribution of meth. 2019, 2 counts of possession of marijuana and unlawful carrying of a pistol. And 2020, distribution of meth. And Your Honor, the victim bill of rights has been complied. None of the other victims wish to be present today. They had no opinion as towards sentencing. We do have the one victim, Ms. Ashley Elmore. She has been present at every court hearing that was needed. She was a willing participant in the whole process. And if she wishes to address the court, she may do so at appropriate.
Mr. McCray, you've heard what the state has said you did is what I was told substantially correct.
Yes, sir.
Do you still wish to plead guilty to these charges?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty, Mr. McCray, because you are?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Barr, any concerns about his pleas?
May it please the court, Your Honor, no concerns in regards to his plea. This has come from several conversations, month-long discussions in regards to the charges, in regards to the evidence the state would bring against Mr. McCray. He and I have discussed it. We've got several conversations about it. He has been detained, Your Honor, in the detention center since October the 13th of 2020. I believe he's been in for 923 odd days. 962 days of being detained. As the state say in their resuscitation of the facts, he did come before the court, I believe on 3 occasions for a bond. He was denied bond on all of those. He did work with law enforcement when he was interviewed. He did give them a statement Your Honor, Mr. McCray, I've known him and I've known his family for a long time. And I believe that in this case, he had a really bad night and he made a very bad, very grave mistake. But Judge, there were a lot of reports that there were other folks that were shooting that night. And I believe that some of the folks that were injured may have been hit by other folks, somebody other than Mr. McCray. Be that as it may, Judge, he's desired to enter into this plea. He's desired to accept responsibility for his part in this matter. And we would, of course, ask for the court to accept the recommendation from the solicitor. We would also thank the state for agreeing to work with us to get to this far. We started, I believe, with about 6 to 8 charges, and we're down to 2. Judge, they've made a recommendation for 12 years. Mr. McCray is 37 years of age, I believe, as of today. He has, as I said before, extreme family support. He got into an altercation or a argument with his now ex-girlfriend, and he made a decision that I believe that if he could do it again, he would certainly take it back. Judge, we know you don't have to follow the recommendation from the state. We know that you have the ultimate authority in this matter. Based on the amount of time he's done, Your Honor, based on the fact that he did, when speaking to law enforcement, he confirmed through the interview some of the things they asked him about. Judge, we'd ask you to consider a sentence of maybe 10 years. Based on the fact that he's been incarcerated since 2020, based on the fact that he never bonded out on these charges, but never was able to get a bond, and based on the fact that he has accepted responsibility. He did not want to try this matter, and he desires to accept this plea and move forward.
I find him giving this plea freely, knowing and voluntarily, with advice of good trial lawyer, the fact of the based on accepting them. With these sentences comes a directive on each sentence. Have no contact with victims, plural, or victims' families, directly or indirectly through other persons. The sentence of the court will be concurrent. Obviously, he gets credit for time served of 962 days. I will leave it at the recommended amount of 12 years after considering the number of charges not going forward and the amount of time he's already served, and that they are concurrent sentences. Good luck, Mr. McCray.
Thank you, Your Honor.